Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy. Thank you for joining me for our live tarot session on today, July 22nd, 2024. It's a beautiful day, and this is going to be a lovely reading. So let's start by giving a shout out to people in the chat. Hello, Lisa. Good to hear that you had a wonderful camping trip. Good to see you, Nikosmas. Exit 101, good to see you. Christy, good evening. And Dorian Price, good evening. All right. So we're going to start by talking a bit about the astrology. So we have some interesting developments. We have the moon in Aquarius, which is this amazing energy of connecting to our dreams, to our wishes, to our desires, of being our true, unique selves, of moving in flow, of socializing, of being in this emotional intensity and love, of being able to draw down the star, right? Aquarius is that star card energy. It's just beautiful. We've also had now the sun shift into Leo. And this is amazing energy. Leo is that bright, fiery lion, that confident energy, that energy of moving forward and being our true, unique, powerful selves. So you combine this amazing, fiery energy of the lion with that beautiful, flowing, loving, self-unique energy of Aquarius, and you can truly connect, truly find yourself, truly be in flow, and truly manifest your true will. This is a real profound moment, a profound moment for projecting yourself in the future, for connecting, and for being in that magical moment, right? When I was meditating and thinking on the cards, I drew this morning the Queen of Cups, the watery of water, right? That profound, divine, feminine energy that can truly do that deep reflection, can go inward into those places, has the ability and the power to be in that loving flow, right? Who can truly see. So this is the energy of the moment right now, is that we have this ability to know ourselves, to see where we have been so that we can project and manifest where we wish to go, you know. And I want to read to you guys a really beautiful poem that I found to be truly meaningful. It's another poem by Khalil Gibran. It's called Beauty 25. It goes, and a poet said, "Speak to us of beauty. Where shall you seek beauty? And how shall you find her unless she herself be your way and your guide? How shall you speak of her except she be the weaver of your speech? The aggrieved and the injured say beauty is kind and gentle. Like a young mother, half shy of her own glory, she walks among us. And the passionate say, nay, beauty is a thing of might and dread. Like the tempest, she shakes the earth beneath us and the sky above us. The tired and the weary say, beauty is oft soft whisperings. She speaks in our spirit. Her voice yields to our silences like a faint light that quivers in fear of the shadow. But the restless say, we have heard her shouting among the mountains, and with her cries came the sound of hooves, and the beating of wings, and the roaring of lions. At night the watchmen of the city say, beauty shall rise from the dawn from the east. And at noontime the toilers and the wayfarers say, we have seen her leaning over the earth from the windows of the sunset. In winter say the snowbound, she shall come with the spring leaping upon the hills. And in the summer heat the reapers say, we have seen her dancing with the autumn leaves, and we saw a drift of snow in her hair. And these things have you said of beauty, yet in truth you spoke not of her, but of needs unsatisfied. And beauty is not a need, but an ecstasy. It is not a mouth thirsting, nor an empty hand stretched forth, but rather a heart inflamed and a soul enchanted. It is not the image you would see, nor the song you would hear, but rather an image you see though you close your eyes, and a song you hear though you shut your ears. It is not the sap within the furrowed bark, nor a wing attached to a claw, but rather a garden forever in bloom, and a flock of angels forever in flight. People of Orphalese, beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. But you are life, and you are the veil. Beauty is eternity gazing at itself in a mirror. You are eternity, and you are the mirror. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just deep and magical? And speak to so much to this idea of the reflection, of looking at the natural reality around us as that mirror, of seeing ourselves reflected in the other, of knowing ourselves through exploring the world, right? Beautiful. Just magical. All right. We're now going to start with our sortes. As you can see, I got quite a few books here. So we're going to have fun this evening. And we are going to start with book 4 by Aleister Crowley. And for those of you who are new and unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, where we ask those spirits of the muses to guide our hand. And we look for those inspiring messages. So muses, inspire us. What is the message from book 4 in Aleister Crowley? All right, let's take a look. Again, it is almost impossible for the well-mannered Christian to realize that Jesus Christ ate with his fingers. Think about this. He ate with his fingers. He's a man, right? Mortal and human like the rest of us. But this contradicts with the mythology, the created myths, the magic, the story, right? How can he be man and also myth? That's the reality. He ate with his fingers. You know? And there's far more to be said of reality and the magic therein than there is for stuff that we just make up, you know? And this is coming from someone who's a tarot reader. All right, let's continue. We're going to go to Chapman's Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Homer? Inspire us today. All right. To Pallas's favor, who vouchsafed to me at Neptune's feast her sight so openly. To Pallas's favor, who vouchsafed to me at Neptune's feast her sight so openly. To Pallas's favor, Pallas Athena, right? That great goddess of justice in the city. You know, of knowledge and wisdom applied. Who vouchsafed to me at Neptune's feast her sight so openly. Right? Oftentimes, it's important that we are spoken of highly by those around us, you know? When we are spoken of in high regard with love by others, it radiates in the heavens, and those take notice. Beautiful. Right? I may aspire to Pallas's favor, right? We aspire to Athena's favor, who vouchsafed to me at Neptune's feast her sight so openly. Why do we aspire for her favor? Because she defends us and protects us, right? She speaks of us at the feast. It's beautiful, right? Who is Athena? She's that goddess of the city, right? The divine unity, the divine androgyne, who brings everyone together. Beautiful. Let's continue. We're going to go to the stories of Vikramaditya. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Vikramaditya? All right. By the side of the lake was a large iron cauldron, which was being heated by an oven fed by logs. He went near it and found to his surprise that the cauldron contained a large quantity of clarified butter and herbs, which was boiling. The cauldron, the milk, the herbs boiling. That's a magical image if I ever heard of one. It reminds me of Medea, right? And of the sacred soma, which is made from the churning of the milk. Beautiful. Wow. And the sacred cauldron, right? The sacred cauldron, Caradwen, Branwen, and Medea herself, who said to boil people in her cauldron to restore them to life, right? Magical. Let's continue. 10 Plays by Euripides. This is an amazing book containing some of Euripides' most well-known plays. Muses, guide our hand. What is the message this evening? Wherefore earth begot nocturnal phantoms, dreams which declared unto many among mortals during sleep, upon darkened couches of the earth, the things which had been, and all the things which were hereafter to be. Earth begot nocturnal phantoms, dreams, which declared unto many among mortals during sleep, upon darkened couches of the earth, the things which had been, and all the things which were hereafter to be. This is beautiful, right? The divination, the power to see, comes from the earth herself. It comes from nature. It comes from being in communion with her, right? And when do we truly hear and listen and receive the messages of the future and of the past? But in our dreams. Beautiful. Let's continue. Excuse me. We're now going to go to this book. This is an interesting book. It's called The Sword of Gnosis. And this is a series of essays by a bunch of philosophers, mystics, and people who follow the traditionalist school. And I'm kind of mixed on traditionalism. I'm very critical of some people like Frithjof Schuon or Gwenon, but then others I like a lot, like Nasser. So it's interesting, but always worth reading these kind of deep thinkers, you know? So let's see what the message is. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from the Sword of Gnosis? Okay. One could define the self as a sort of compensation in reference to the contrast between interior and exterior. Isn't that interesting? One could define the self as a sort of compensation in reference to the contrast between interior and exterior. Even as individuals, we exist in duality. We have internal worlds, internal selves that can only be experienced ourself. And then we have that external reception and projection of self, right? It is based on our internal, but it is not a true reflection of the internal. That is reserved for us and us alone, right? Can only be gleaned through conversation, through exploration. Wow. Interesting. The self is this contrast, right? Beautiful. And how do you know the self then, right? You have to explore the inner and the outer, right? Knowing the self is the true goal of the mystic. And we have to recognize that the self is found in the contrast. in the in between, neither here nor there. We're now going to jump to Byron, Selected Poetry and Letters. This is a beautiful collection. All right, Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Lord Byron? Senseless to feel and with sealed eyes to see. Doesn't this echo earlier sentiments? Senseless to feel with sealed eyes to see, right? When we're talking about experiencing that divine muse, connecting to that universal flow, experiencing that divine mother, it is a sense and it is a feeling, but it is something beyond sense and feeling. It is neither sense nor feeling. But these are the most accurate words in a sense for using to describe that connection. Right? It's a paradox. It's something that must be experienced. It's something that must be felt and must be heard, even though it is silent. And this is what they talk about when you go into those deep meditative places. And when you truly connect to that self, right? It is a feeling more than anything. And with this power of the Queen of Wands, we have this unique moment right now. And with the moon in Aquarius and the sun in Leo, the forces have aligned where we can shine that light and go deep into these emotional depths, explore the full depth of our love, look into our heart. All right. We are now going to hop over to Libra 420. This is a great book by a dear friend, Chris Bennett. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Chris Bennett? Okay. In a thick cloud of perfumes, the priest descends the altar of Satan's synagogue. On the table is seen a goat with a human face, already excited by some preliminary homages, intoxicated by perfumes and adoration. The priest opens a box and takes out some wafers. The rites performed and the words spoken during the continuance of the magical ceremony are blasphemous in character, and the sacred vessel and its contents are subjected to insult and mockery. The goat plays the infernal part, cursing and reviling, and lastly, the following incantation is delivered. Master of the Escalandres, dispenser of the benefits of crime, intendant of sumptuous sins and great vices, sovereign of contempt, preserver of old hatreds, and inspirer of vengeance and misdeeds. Oof. The story of the Black Mass. This is an interesting thing to think about and to really engage with, because something like the Black Mass, this kind of really exaggerated intensity and almost to the point of parody is a result of extreme persecution and vilification. You only see something like the silliness of Luciferian Satanism, right, when it is dreamed up by crazed Christians and when it is performed by the abused and the aggrieved, right? We must recognize that behind the veil of that satanic ridiculousness is a beautiful image of that Baphomet, right? The divine androgyne, Salve Coagula, right? The alchemical creative. There's deep magic here. If you can move beyond the parody, right? If you do not fall for these games of extremism, something like Satanism only exists when you have something like Christianity to create an evil, to create a villain, right? If you wish for and you obsess over a villain for long enough, you manifest it, right? You manifest it. For anyone who wants to look into this, I highly recommend checking out the story of in France, there was this deep mystery called the Affair of the Poisons. And you'll see where this stuff comes from. You know, it's a result of persecution. You know, if in the earliest rites, when we engage with magic, when we engage with the purgation, we come together as a community in that sacred theater to face our fears, to face and overcome our debaucherous nature, where there's a time and there's a place for things. You know, if you vilify the nature and reality and you don't look in those dark places, they come out in extreme forms. That's why knowing thyself is so important. You have to recognize that even you are capable of violence, are capable of lust, are capable of debauchery. And if you cannot confront this within the self, if you lock it away and deny it, then it will come out in a monstrous form. And you will be guilty of that which you are afraid of. Right? Know the self. Let's continue. Narcissus and Goldman. This is a beautiful book. Hermann Hesse. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Hesse? Part of this sacrifice was recoverable. A few of his love adventures, his fights with rivals, constituted a small revenge against the slave-like, sedentary order of his present life. Part of this sacrifice was recoverable. A few of his love adventures, his fights with rivals, constituted a small revenge against the slave-like, sedentary order of his present life. There's something to be recognized too in this idea of the sacrifice, right? There's so much of a misconception. The sacrifice often was a transformation, right? It was a feast where there was a coming together. It wasn't a loss, but rather a bringing together of the community in a rite. And through the consumption of food, it connected people in harmony. And in community, you know? And we need to see that and recognize that. And that these sacrifices that we make, you lose something and you gain something, right? And this is true of every action in life. And we need to understand that. In order to move forward, something must change. And every change, in a sense, is a form of sacrifice. It's a willingness to stop doing something to do something new. Let's continue. All right. We're going to go to Ore by Gabriel Macari. Beautiful book. Just love it. All right. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Ore? Scry inward. The higher the impulse, the stronger the will to commune with the projected forms of thyself. If we could ever get a clearer message. Scry inward. The higher the impulse, the stronger the will to commune with the projected forms of thyself. That's the message. That's the goal. That's what we're here to do. To know thyself. And one way to know thyself is to listen and to let the body talk to you, to let the mind reveal itself to you in personality. All right, let's continue. We are going to go to my dear friend Graham's book, The Shape of My Will. An amazing poetry collection. All right, Muse. What is the message from Graham? I shall peel back the layers of reality, folding them in such a way as to reveal the universe itself, to itself. I shall peel back the layers of reality, folding them in such a way so as to reveal the universe to itself. Isn't that beautiful? And isn't that what we are doing when we're engaging with the mirror, when we are searching out beauty, when we are looking for the self, right? We are showing the universe to itself. Beautiful. Wow. We're going to go now to Who's Who in Greek Mythology. This is a fun book. Let's see. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message today? We have Phaenon, a beautiful youth, created by Prometheus and given immortality by Zeus. Placed among the stars is the planet Phaenon. Wow, sometimes Jupiter or Saturn. This is a story I'm not too familiar with. This is something I'm going to have to dig into. Phaenon, a beautiful youth created by Prometheus and given immortality by Zeus. Placed among the stars is the planet Phaenon. Beautiful. Wow. Interesting. So much solar magic, so much power here, right? Prometheus is that incredible Titan who gave birth to humanity and then hid for us, for humans, the flame inside the fennel stalk, right? In the Thyrsus, in spite of Zeus's protestations. And then because of this, he is attacked and destroyed, stuck on the mountains, and forever, every morning, he has his liver eaten out by that eagle, right? As his punishment for all eternity. And we know that eagle is commanded by Medea, and she takes that liver and uses it in her potions. Wow. And to be placed among the stars is a planet. Interesting. Let's continue. All right. We're going to go to Parvati Darpana. This is definitely the book for today, I believe, with all of this talk of the mirror. Parvati Darpana, this is Parvati's mirror. The Darpana is that mirror, right? Is the thing that she holds. You can see her here holding it. That she can gaze upon herself, and also that Shiva can gaze upon himself through her, right? And through this returning gaze, he can recognize himself in her, and they come together as one. You know, they see themselves in the other, and they form a divine unity, and they become the Adranahari Ishvara. All right. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Parvati Darpana? The Rasa doctrine, in no uncertain terms, speaks of the process of Sadharanaka or Sadharana Karana, or universalization, as an essential part of the Rasa experience. It is the Rasa experience that converts the particular into the universal. For without this expansion of consciousness through the process of Spanda, Shiva would still be limited to the finite and the less than joyous experience of aham, I am. Wow. So the Rasa doctrine, this is the doctrine of the aesthete, of perception, of perceiving nature, right? In no uncertain terms, speaks of the process of Sadharana Karana, or universalization, as an essential part of this perception. It is the Rasa experience that converts the particular into the universal, right? So this is what's happening. Through that perception, through that love and pursuit of beauty and engagement in looking into the mirror, you move from the individual to the universal. Shiva, by seeing himself in Parvati, eventually sees himself in everything and moves from the I am to the I am that, right? Recognizing himself in everything. Beautiful. Wow. All right. For our final sword taste, we're going to go to In Tune with the Infinite. Beautiful book with incredible annotations by our friend Harry F. Given. All right. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from In Tune with the Infinite and Harry Given? All right. Not long ago, a lady was telling a friend of a serious physical trouble. My friend happened to know that between this lady and her sister, the most kindly relations did not exist. He listened attentively to her delineation of her troubles, and then, looking her squarely in the face, in a firm but kindly tone, said, "Forgive your sister." The woman looked at him in surprise and said, "I can't forgive my sister." "Very well, then," he replied, "keep the stiffness of your joints and your kindred rheumatic troubles." Now, I don't know how literal these connections truly are, but there is so much to be said about this kind of thing, right? If you live in anger and resentment, if you hold hatred in your heart, right, then it will manifest in other ways. It'll come out in disease, in illness, in pain, in anger, in anger directed towards others around you, right? Anger is such an intense emotion, it can affect everything, right? And we need to recognize these things. Beautiful. Okay. We're now going to go to our Ganapati Ganesha Oracle. Ganapati Ganesha is that divine child, the Lord of beginnings, guardian of the threshold, right? The one we pray to first, the manifester of dreams, the bringer of joy. What is the message, Lord Ganapati, Lord of the Ganas? Inspire us. Decision, action. Oof, right? Overthinking always prevents action and decision. But thinking is required to make the decision. And this is that divine paradox. This is the crossroads where you find Hermes. What is the path that you take? Do you take that leap? Do you control? What are you doing? Right? Where are you going? And who better to be at the crossroads also than Ganapati, right? The twin of Hermes, the Indian version of that similar energy, you know? And he's telling you, make a choice and commit to it. Take that leap and go and flow. But to make a decision, you have to define, what do you want? Where are you going? And who's going where? Knowing thyself and what you want is the key to that decision. Right? So think on this energy of the queen. Do that reflective power of going into the heart. And then take that knowledge of the heart and make your decision. Beautiful. All right. We are now going to go to our tarot proper, but before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and it's a small little blessing and good karma for you, and it would be much appreciated. And if you are at all interested and would like a private reading, please reach out. Send me an email, snappyddts@gmail.com, or you can reach me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I am Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right, we're now going to do our tarot proper. We're going to use our Thoth Tarot deck of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to do the Saturn Square reading, where we invoke that energy of Saturn Chronos. And we dissect our life, cut it up and put it on the plate. We look at the intersections. We look at our conflicts. We ask, how do we evolve past this? How do we best move and flow? And how do we manifest our true will? The center card is always the most important. And our center today is that beautiful universe energy. Amazing. I always love seeing this energy, but so incredible to see it in the center. This is that divine completion. This is coming to the end of a cycle and about to rebirth into a new cycle. Beautiful, right? Wow. And it's about recognizing this, right? We have come to the end. We have learned the lessons that we need to learn. And now is the time to do the deep reflection to imagine where we're going next, right? Where do you wish to be? Who are you going to become? Look at the great goddess Persephone. She's in that Orphic egg, and she will be reborn anew. She will burst forth as the fool, and the whole cycle will be born again. Who is the fool this time? Which path does he take? Let's see where this goes. Beautiful energy. We have that Princess of Wands, a new birth, childlike wonder in that fiery essence of the wands. New passions, new love, new pursuits that must be nurtured and tended to. The princess always foretells of the queen or of the knight. This is that childlike energy that can grow and manifest and transform, become something truly beautiful. But it must be nurtured and cared for. Let's see where it goes. We have two. Wow. This is truly a new birth, right? And we have two twin energies on either side, two children. Now we have the Princess of Cups. New pursuits in that emotional regard, new connections, new ways of connecting. And this energy too must be nurtured and cared for. And what better energy to manifest for our tarot at the start than that divine Queen of Cups? Because she is that mother who can nurture this energy. Wow. And this is about new directions, new pursuits, transformations in this fiery passion and in this emotional connection. Let's see where this is going. Wow. Now we have the Knight of Cups. Beautiful energy. The Knight of the Cups is the one who can bring and get that divine holy grail. They have love to give and to share, right? They go out into the world and they manifest that love. They share that love with others. They bring that cup and that salvation to the world, right? Beautiful energy to have that connected to the universe card here. We're coming out of that universe in this new direction, this new passionate pursuit. Where's that going? Yeah. The Knight is that one who moves forward in pursuit of that emotional love. He wants to share his cup with the other, right? And that Knight is in that movement. He's moving towards his love. And we're seeing that directly with this manifestation of the Chariot, right? The divine power of Helios, right? Donning our armor, entering the car, manifesting our will and moving forward, taking hold of the reins, driving the whip, right? Chasing after this energy here, right? Which is the strophalon of Hecate, the Kundalini, the manifestation of the serpent, right? Moving forward in flow. Connected to that Knight, this is about donning our armor and being ready to go and to move. Yeah. So while there is all this movement and there's all this transformation, there's worry here, right? We are trying to move beyond our foundations, right? The Five of Discs is building upon that Four of Power, that family, that foundation, those jobs, that security, your home, your house. But when we move beyond the foundation, it always leads to an imbalance. And the fives, this is an imbalance of worry. Can we juggle? Can we do what is necessary to grow? But here's the thing. If you can build upon the five, it will become that six: success, abundance, growth, the most balance of numbers. So you need to push through the worry to continue to build this tower, to manifest that six. And you do it with this outgoing, loving energy of the Knight and with that power of movement and transformation that is gained through the Chariot. right? Taking responsibility. I always think of that energy of Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is the driver of the chariot, and he reminds Arjuna of his responsibility, of his kingship, that he must go to war and defend the people, for that is his dharma. What is your dharma? Where are you going? What do you need to do and take responsibility for? You're in that pursuit of love, but to do so, you must be this mature knight. You must be the one who can move and take responsibility and overcome that worry. Build beyond the 5 and manifest the 6. Let's see where this is going. Wow. Coming out of this completion energy, we're moving into that energy of the divine magician, the one who manifests their will, who projects themselves into the future, right? So what we're seeing is that we need to be in this flow. In order to be the knight, you must imagine yourself as that knight. You want to manifest the Knight of Cups, the one who moves towards love, who seeks out love, who gives their love and shares it with the world. Then you have to believe that you are that person. You have to go out under the stars and be that person. Manifest it in your mind and then become it in reality. That is the power of the magician, right? Where's this going? There's mental interference here. Even though you're showing up as this divine creative, the magician, the one who can project their will, who can manifest themselves, who can dream into that future, there is this 7, right? Overthinking. Or sorry, 8. There is this overthinking, interference, right? Putting too much pressure upon oneself. Putting so much into this manifestation that we're not manifesting, right? Sometimes that interference, what it is in order to be in this magical creative mode, you need to be creating. You need to be imagining. You need to be doing. You need to think and flow. But often this kind of interference, it stops it. Well, what if I'm doing it wrong? Do I know what I'm doing? Am I doing the steps correctly? What is my art good enough? Is my thought good enough? What if my dreams are wrong? And do I know what I want to do? Where am I going? Who am I? You can ask questions until the end of time, and questions will always prevent movement. Eventually, you have to stop questioning, and you have to start doing. You have to just put on the costume and be the fool who says, "This is who I am." And eventually, people will start to see you, and they won't see a fool. They'll see what you claim. Let's see. Yeah. We're embracing the change, right? The magician energy here, right? You want to change, you have to change, right? It's that duality. The magician, you have to embrace change in the mind and then be in change in the physical. And this energy of the change has to be ridden. You have to ride the waves. You have to move and flow between the poles, between the two, black and white, right? Adapt and flow. That is the key. And the magician has that power to adapt, to say, well, how do I overcome, right? But the key is not to overthink it too much. This magician has to act, has to adapt, right? Beautiful. So that's our full square. Before I flip my camera, please, once again, give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. And if you are at all interested in a private reading, you can reach me, snappydts@gmail.com. You'll find my email in the description, or you can reach me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I am Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right, let's take a look. Here is our full Saturn square spread. We're going to start on this side. The key to manifesting this new passionate love, to nurturing this energy of this princess, this wands, right? This new beautiful rebirth, this new direction that we're taking that needs to be nurtured and cared for. We need to be in movement. We need to be in flow. We need to take responsibility and be that chariot. We need to resist the interference and overthinking. The chariot is that energy of doing, right? The chariot is the one who sits in meditation, who calls upon the force of that kundalini to rise, who fixates upon that base and manifests it up the spine, right? Move and flow. Do what is necessary. Do the hard work, right? Take responsibility. Know your dharma. Now we hop over here to our center, right? That universe, that completion energy, the ending of all of this cycle. And what's coming out of this? We are being reborn in this new direction where we're manifesting this energy of the night, right? The night is that mature energy of the one who projects their will outward in the pursuit of love, who has this loving emotional cup to share and to give, who wants to connect in loving connection with others and is moving towards it. That's what we're manifesting. This is where we're going. Beautiful energy. Connected to that is creating this beautiful divine child, the Princess of Cups, nurturing and caring for her. And the key to manifesting her and to being in with her, to have her become that queen or that knight that she's foretold to become, we need to embrace the change and adapt. We need to overcome this worry. We need to build upon our foundations and growth and take responsibility. Beautiful energy. Amazing, right? It's all about accepting change. And it's all about working to overcome. Building upon this uncertainty by manifesting it into the six, by taking responsibility to ensure our success. All right, we're now going to look at our crosses. We'll start here. Right. As this cycle is coming out, we are ending this cycle of the worry and the interference. And it's about letting this stuff come to an end too, recognizing that this is no longer true of our situation. Right? That we are changing directions, that we are going to do differently so that we can reject this energy and move beyond it, you know? Earlier today, I did a reading for a friend and I got the card, the Ion, and there's this beautiful image of the Ion where he is the one who holds the double wand, right? One hand, he allows it to flow as that wand of force. The other crushes and is destroyed. You know, we have to make that decision. We have to take that action. You know, and we have to decide to abandon this and to move in a new pursuit, to engage in these new loving, creative projects, right? To nurture them so that they can manifest and become either queens or knights, right? Take responsibility and don our armor, move in flowing change, manifest our will. Beautiful, 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 right? Love to see this energy. This is incredible energy. I hope this all resonated with you. The message here is to let this cycle end and embrace this new cycle. And in this new cycle, you are becoming this outgoing force of love. You are moving. You are moving in flow, and you are going to work to help raise and take care of these children, to help build these princesses into loving, powerful people, adults, you know? And you're going to do this by adapting to change and by moving in flow. I love it. Beautiful energy, and I love seeing where it's going. I hope that all resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. Okay. We're going to do one final sortes, and then we're going to call it an evening. For our final reading tonight, we're going to go back to Euripides. 10 plays. Muses, guide my hand. What is the final message this evening? Zeus, child has come back to the land of the Thebans. I am Dionysus, whom Cadmus's daughter Semele bore long ago by the flaming thunderbolt's midwifery. My form I have changed from divine to human as I come now to Dirce's streams, to the waters of Emenus. Close by the palace here I mark the monument of my mother, the thunder blasted. The ruins of her home I see are smoldering still. The divine fire is still alive. Hera's undying insult to my mother, all praise to Cadmus. He has made this spot holy ground, his daughter's chapel. But it was I who weathered in the greenery of the clustering vine. There is so much here. The divine returns as human, and he is born out of the destruction, and he rises as that beautiful vine. Connect to that loving energy of Dionysus, that fool who embraces transformation and change, and love and growth, who can overcome death and destruction. In the mother's name. Beautiful. Hail Dionysus, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace and love.